An interview with Jane Roberts and Robert Butts conducted. Okay, we're going to hear from the true spirit of Seth, apparently. Sick sound. Top quad. That's a dude. That is a sick sound right there. I'm gonna use that for a super chat. I've been looking for that sound for like a whole week. Oh yeah. Okay, the naked truth on Channeler or Medium. Jane Roberts and Seth. Sick. Dude, that sound is epic. Okay, one more time. That will be one of the sounds, the super chat sounds over at Ortho Thugs for sure, 100%.
This is the house in Elmira, New York, where Jane Roberts first made contact with Seth in December of 1963. From her second-floor apartment, Jane spent countless hours in trance speaking for Seth, as her husband Robert Butts patiently transcribed every word. The Seth phenomenon has resulted in numerous books, thousands of pages of unpublished material, and the development of a philosophy that has changed the lives of many of us. I'm Richard Kendall. I was a member of Jane's class for a number of years, an experience one doesn't forget. The tape you are about to see was recorded on June 4th, 1974. It begins with an interview of Jane and Rob conducted by Harold Channa and filmed by Stephen Bell. Following the interview are excerpts from Jane's class filmed later that evening, containing the only visual record we have of Seth speaking through Jane.
Seth is a spirit, Extanglia, some sort of spirit that they're speaking through.
I was at that.
Did you say Robin Butts? Yeah.
Class, and
He'd been Robin Butts his whole life.
little did I imagine that over 12 years later, I'd be introducing this tape.
Who would have known?
Hello again. The previous tape portion of me speaking was recorded in April 1986. It is now 2 years later, April 1988.
I don't like your mouth. I don't like your mouth. Makes me want to quit eating hamburgers.
The responses to the questions I will be asking have been excerpted from that June 1974 interview, originally...
He's like... Megan and I call this too much face. We can't explain where the proportions are and why, but we go, oh, that person has too much face. This is a person. That's not Mormon face. It's different.
Conducted by Harold Channa.
He's got a weird mouth, though.
And filmed by Stephen Bell. Following that, you will see the only visual record of Seth speaking through Jane Roberts. Let me introduce the individuals crucial to the Seth phenomena. First,
so much flesh. Just too much flesh on his face. Just too many flabs, too many flaps. Too many sections. You know? It's like there's a bunch of different... It's like flesh Legos or something. It's like his face was put together with parts. Like it wasn't fluidly, like, grown into itself. It was like, let's put the mouth flap on now.
It was, of course, Seth. Seth said he was an entity or personality who no longer needed a physical body, who had experienced...
Wheelchair face? No, he doesn't have wheelchair head. He doesn't have quite a wheelchair head.
Many...
He has, like, CNN reporter face and mouth.
Different physical lives on Earth. While speaking through Jane, he dictated numerous books on the subject of life, death, dreams, and reality. Jane Roberts, who died in 1984, was the medium.
Looks like Bill Hicks. Yeah, it looks like Bill Hicks was, like, connected to, like a helium tank.
For whom Seth spoke.
Or Bill Hicks got stung by, like, 5 bees on his head.
Or came through. Today, she'd be called a channeler.
Seth is not a demon? Well, probably. Militant queer. Probably a demon.
Jane was an author, poet, and the wife of Robert Butts. Robert
Butts?
Butts was, and today still is, an artist.
Oh, he's from New York. Yeah, of course he is. He's from Elmira.
Who resides in Elmira, New York.
New York.
Besides encouraging Jane, he took the dictation as Seth spoke, playing a critical part in bringing the books to fruition.
Oh,
until Seth entered their lives, Jane and Rob were a typical, although artistically inclined couple.
Oh, yeah, you don't say. Any early childhood information? Robert Butts, do not go near him. I mean, look at him.
How does an entity such as Seth enter into one's life? In Jane's case, it began with an unusual experience of automatic writing.
This all began late in 1963. One evening, Jane was writing poetry.
Jane was writing poetry. It always starts with that, Jane, my wife Jane, you know, it all started one ordinary day. And of course, Jane waking up, having the mind that she does, just writing poetry.
After supper, as is her usual custom, and she went into an altered state of consciousness. This was entirely unexpected by her. And she had an out-of-body experience. She found her consciousness leaving her body. And at the same time, she began to write in sort of an automatic script.
You know, I've been a poet from the time I was a child, and I just was writing.
Oof. Oof. I thought I would never find someone who hit more branches on the ugly tree than Ayn Rand, but apparently I've discovered one. Living Water, $5. How's it going? Bob Jim, hope you're staying blessed. A friend of mine recently asked, what does the church say about once saved, always saved thing? Well, that's a modern innovation, Living Water. Or if you're referring to orthodoxy, no, we don't have a tramp stamp soteriology. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for your super chat.
The next thing I knew, my consciousness was just gone.
That's a contradiction. Literally an active, blatant contradiction. The next thing I knew, me being consciously me, was that my consciousness was gone. Oh, really? It's interesting that you were aware of such an event there, Jane.
And it wasn't in out of body in the respect that I had another body or thought I did.
It's too bad.
My consciousness went through.
It's too bad you weren't over. It's too bad Seth took you over and it wasn't an orthodontist.
Like the window and then into the leaves and into everything. And it wasn't until I came back that I found this script and realized that, you know, I had to have written it.
Yeah.
Lady.
Was it,
Lady. Poor woman. Her teeth are like the twin towers falling. That's a scary face. I know this is blurred, but look at her face from afar. I mean, that is... Can you imagine seeing that in the corner of your room? Can you imagine waking up all thirsty or having to piss and, like, you see that in the darkness just sitting there? Oh, Lord have mercy.
the stuff that was in the script was stuff I had felt while I was out, to some extent, in that the script, again, the title was The Physical Universe as Idea Construction, the idea being
Jane Roberts and Robert Butts.
that everything is a result of idea and has consciousness. But when I was out, I would go in atoms and molecules, and I felt their consciousness. But then when I read the script, it was terribly hard.
I never thought I'd see someone who's probably better off with no teeth, but here we are.
To accept portions of it because it pretty much went against what I've been taught.
What was doubly unusual about this experience was that up until
No consciousness, but you could feel, and refer back to the moment. Yeah, I was totally lost consciousness, but I was conscious to determine that.
this point in their lives, both Jane and Rob knew close to nothing about
She has Seth mouth. It's like meth mouth.
psychic experiences or the related subject matter.
Wow! I mean, I literally very. I had done no reading in this field. I had done nothing. So as far as I knew, this had never happened before to another individual.
It was something
any place. It was, you know, where did I go? How did I get out of my body? This is fantastic.
This peculiar experience alone did not bring Seth into their lives. As in all matters, people make choices, and these choices then bring on new experiences. Jane and Rob could have chosen to ignore this experience, to believe that Jane was losing her mind, or they could have chosen to explore the matter further. This is what they finally chose to do.
I was a writer.
Okay.
And so I had just finished my...
Of course, these people are just, I mean, they're just goblin shammed scam artists. Here's the story, okay, with these two, Jane Roberts and Robert Butts. They're artists, they're poets. Robert Butts does ceramics in the morning. They have a garden, but they call it a sanctuary. You know, he orders like specialty teas. Here's what happened. Jane here wants to be special, and she wants to write, and she wants to be known for her poetry and her prose and her story and her experience. And so she just fabricates this, and so she knows it's going to get interviews, and she can write a book on it. I mean, these people are truly horrible. They're just horrible, desperate people. I mean, this is like equivalent to OnlyFans, but it's spirit. It's like early, before she, you know, figure out to sell her body directly online. She's just like, well, I'll just sell another type of lie. I wouldn't be surprised if she sold a couple books based on this. Intel Wild, nice to see you, $5. Over the weekend at Dodger Stadium, they made players wear an LGBT rainbow on their hats and sang the national anthem in Spanish. Oh. Invade now, am I right?
My first science fiction novel, which was...
This is all a scheme to get to pay for dental work.
Paperback, called The Rebellers, and I was looking for something else to write. And Robbie came up with the idea, joking. He said, why don't you do a book? This must have something to do with ESP or something.
Right.
So why don't you get some books?
Robbie's hair is so sketchy. He looks like he's just like, his whole presence, he's like coming out of a storm cloud. It's like if you were to draw a face on a storm cloud, it would be Robbie Butts.
Books, read up on it.
These people are gross.
Try some experiments. And if they don't work, you can always say that, well, I tried all this stuff and it just doesn't work. And if it works, well, you know, who knows? So we started out, we got 2 or 3 paperbacks. We found out about Ouija boards and everything.
Oh, you had a Ouija board too?
And we borrowed a Ouija board.
And we opened the Talmud and... And lo and behold, I remember having a Talmud in my house, and I have some Kabbalistic books as well. And I have a board game, Kabbalah the board game. And me and Robbie, we says, oh, we should play this, honey.
We didn't even buy one. And after I forget once or twice or something, we started to get stuff on the board. And with the psychological knowledge I had, that
if Rob Ross drew a person,
the first thing I thought of was, well, it's a subconscious. Rob.
I mean, how many times are you gonna give the names?
I was pushing it, or Rob would say I was.
The shilling is crazy.
Pushing it. So we went through that long kind of thing, and after only maybe 5 or 6, 7 sessions with that, Seth came through vocally.
Oh.
I would start to know what was going to be said, and then I would start to want to speak.
Okay.
Well, Jane didn't even believe in and that's the main reason.
I thought there was video.
Closed my eyes and never opened them.
Happening.
I want to see Rob. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
We no longer need to live under the oppressive shoulders of Jimbob. Show support for Vagine by sending Bob chats. Yag the stream.
No one cares enough about you, Vagine. Look at this. This is sad and pathetic. You're trying to do an open campaign where you're the person campaigning for your own existence. No one else is helping you, except for Justin Henley a little bit. And you're asking people to donate to Bob Chats to keep you around. And literally, we had like maybe 6 of them. No one cares, Vagine. All right. So this is actually Seth speaking through Jane.
Anyone in this century except for Edgar Casey. And now, for the first time in any major metropolitan area in the world, we will broadcast Seth actually speaking through Jane.
Good.
I'll bid you good evening.
They just laugh at her.
And understand your responses to our friend here. For when he speaks, you fear the vocabulary. Because you fear the beliefs that you still are afraid of it.
Wait a second. So Seth is from Africa? What the hell? This chick saw one talk from Nelson Mandela or some shit. From Maya Angelou or some tribesman in fucking in the Sahara. I don't even know. But she's like, well, I guess Seth's gonna be an African. Why are you gay?
You are afraid that after all, for all of your hard-earned knowledge, the others are right. You are not sure of your position, and therefore you must defend it with a great vehemence. You sin in our well-meaning and beautiful friend. Those are beliefs against which you yourselves have fought for so long.
It's just literally saying nothing. I mean, did this gimmick take off for a little bit? I mean, she's literally making shit up. It's just hag. Yeah, it's possessed hag poetry. Nothing's being said at all.
And you are afraid.
Seth speaks Yiddish. Yeah, it's like a Yiddish African mix.
That in your heart of hearts, you do not trust the joyful integrity of your own being.
It sounds like Alan Watts. Yeah, it sounds exactly like that. Alan Watts gibberish. Complete gibberish.
You are afraid that after all, the old stories may be correct, and there is something wrong in your creaturehood.
What is that, a shout out? Is that a shout out to Christianity? That the old stories might be correct and there's something wrong with your creaturehood?
That you are, after all, put down.
Put down. See, I'm all for these types of people being physically removed from society. Or maybe just like, I don't know, maybe sever a part of their tongue or something like this.
Because you are human. And that you are, after all, damned. Because you are.
Oh, you're making shit up now. You don't know what to say now. You got caught. Look at her thinking, what should I say now?
What you are.
Oh! Couldn't come up with anything. After all, you are what you are. Am I right? Whoops.
And that no matter what you say or do, you are originally, in one way.
Who would have known 50 years later or more, she would just merely be reflecting an ordinary TikTok account. You know what I mean? It's like at the time this is like stands out as something weird, and now this is like I don't know, like maybe like 25 of 100 TikTok accounts. These were days before dentistry.
Or another damned. You are afraid? Because our friend Andy is so sincere.
Sincere? Shut up!